Hello, nandito na tayo sa part 7 ng discussion for the subject Fundamentals of Criminal Investigation. So, last part, na-discuss natin yung 3 I's. Ano yung mga 3 tools that can help the investigator in investigating the crime. So, na-discuss din natin yung information, yung interrogation and instrumentation. So ngayon we will discuss about the information. Tapos na tayo sa persons. Di ba may 3 sources of information? Tapos na tayo sa persons. Punta naman tayo ngayon sa places and things. So, places, anong ini-indicate nito? So, places as a source of information generally refers to the scene of the crime, diba? Or the locus criminis. It is important for the investigator to locate the true crime scene because it contains the highest concentration of physical evidence. So, importante na malaman or makita ng investigator kung saan talaga yung crime scene. Kasi nandoon yung mga traces of physical evidence na magagamit through criminal for the use in criminal investigation, di ba? So, crime scenes may be primary crime scene, secondary crime scene, or the pseudo crime scene. When we talk about primary crime scene, it is the place where the crime was committed talaga. Dito nag-una or dito ang unang traces or contact ng suspect at ng victim, di ba? So when we talk about secondary crime scene, it is the place where the crime was continued, di ba? Ito yung second part where the contact or the encounter of the victim and suspect is continued, di ba? So ito yung primary and secondary. Dito naman tayo sa pseudo crime scene. Anong ibig sabihin nito? A crime scene staged to mislead, cover up, or conceal what really happened. So itong pseudo crime scene, ito yung mga ginagamit ng mga suspect in order to cover up or to mislead the investigator or the investigating team. So, gumagawa siya ng kanyang crime scene para ma-mislead yung investigating team. So, ang tawag nito is pseudo crime scene. So, remember this term. So, doon tayo, we will proceed to sa things. The last but certainly not the least source of information are things, di ba? Things are any tangible objects found at the crime scene or in possession of the suspect. So these are objects of evidentiary rule or evidentiary value. So the investigative classification of evidence is more technical and is somewhat different from the classification of evidence under the rules of court. Nevertheless, they are related to one another. So ito yung mga objects na may evidentiary rule, di ba? Evidentiary value. So kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina, the evidence under the rules of court is not actually hindi sila masyadong magkapareho, but they are in related to the other, di ba? So ito. Next is the instrumentation. Tapos na tayo sa information. Dito naman tayo sa instrumentation, which is one of the tools in criminal investigation. So, instrumentation refers to the use of forensic tools. As I have said, it is the use of instrument, di ba? To advance the goals of investigation, also called criminalistics. This is where investigation becomes strictly scientific. So, nagamit na tayo ng mga instrument or applied science para magamit natin as tools in investigation, di ba? These are the legal medicine. So, familiar tayo sa legal medicine, di ba? Sa forensic chemistry and toxicology, sa personal identification, firearms identification, or the forensic ballistics, sa question documents and writing examinations, the polygraph examinations, din the police photography. So, these are the science or applied science that can be used in the prosecution of criminals. Bakit? Kasi ito yung ginagamit to preserve evidence, to find the suspects, di ba? So, as a criminologist or hopefully you will be the one makapasa kayo ng board exam ng criminology. So, tatawagin kayong criminologist. So, as criminologist, you should know these sciences. It can actually give importance sa investigation, di ba? Itong mga sciences na ito. So, the third is the interrogation. So, this is the third tool of investigation. It is a questioning of a person suspected of having committed an offense or a person who is reluctant to make full disclosure of information in his possession, di ba? Which is pertinent to the investigation. Before starting the interrogation, however, he must remember the requirements of Miranda rights. So, as investigator, we should also know the procedure or the requirements under Miranda rights, di ba? And other pertinent laws such as the RA 7438, di ba? Rights of a person arrested, detained, or under custodial interrogation. So, kailangan nating malaman itong mga rights of the person. So, itong rights of person arrested, detained, or under custodial investigation at itong Anti-Torture Act, simply nakuha ito sa Constitution because the Constitution especially provide the rights of the accused, di ba? So, under Article 3 Bill of Rights in the 1987 Constitution, it provides the rights of the accused under custodial investigation. So, we should, as an investigator, we should consider this. So, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, as I have said, ang mga torture at yung mga traditional na means or methods to interrogate suspects ay hindi na applicable ngayon because there are so many existing laws and rules na dapat sundin ng mga investigator. So, anong kaibahan ng interrogation at interview? When we talk about interrogation, ito yung pagtatanong sa mga suspect. So, yung mga reluctant suspect. Diba? When we talk, pwede rin itong magamit sa mga witness, yung mga reluctant or hindi mag-cooperate ng mga witness. So, when we talk about interview, it is the simple questioning lamang sa mga witness at victim. Diba? So, ano itong Miranda Doctrine or Miranda versus Arizona? Ang facts in issue nito is whether or not the conviction is proper. Diba? Ruling of the U.S. Supreme Court, the conviction is erroneous and violates the due process clause of the American Constitution. So, every person accused of a crime has the right to be informed of his right to remain silent, that what he says or do may be used against him in a court of law. Diba? He has the right to counsel, preferably his own right or choice, diba? And if he cannot afford, the government will provide it. for free. So, ito yung ruling ng Supreme Court. An accused who is not properly appraised of these rights can lawfully contest the validity of any signed confession or any statements, di ba? Which by virtue of coercive pressure exerted by the veteran interrogators is too intimidated of powerless to resist. So, ang pinoprotektahan nito sa Miranda rights is the rights of the accused. Sa investigation din kasi, when we are using law or when we are a law enforcer o officer, di ba? Dapat may limitation yung authority natin or power. So, it will protect the accused or the suspect from overuse of power by the authority, di ba? So, kailangan may protection din ang suspect, di ba? Kasi yung authority ng government is not absolute. If it will break any rights of any individual, di ba? It will violate the rights of individual. Siyempre, under sa Constitution, the sovereignty resides in the people, di ba? So, the sovereignty resides in the people and all government authority emanates from them. So, sa kanila nanggaling. So, sa people nanggaling. So, in order to limit the authority and abuse of the government, so, nandito yung mga rights na ito or yung mga laws na ito. So, ito yung nagawa ng Miranda Doctrine. Ito yung na-contribute sa investigation. Hindi lamang dito sa Pilipinas at sa buong mundo. So, may exceptions to the Miranda rights. So, ito yung exceptions. When the accused freely and voluntarily waive his right. So, when the accused is waiving his right. So, exception to the Miranda rights. Volunteered information. When the accused without waiving his right and without the police initiating the questioning, nevertheless volunteered information which contribute to his conviction. So, ito yung ikalawa, di ba? Then, the third one is when the conviction is partly based on available evidence other than the confession of the accused. So, understandable naman itong mga words na ito, di ba? Inevitable discovery rule. When the information furnished by the accused is of such nature that the police would have discovered it anyway, even in the absence of the confession, the accused could still be convicted. So, ito yung inevitable discovery rule. So, take note with this word o rule. So, ito yung mga exceptions ng Miranda rights. So, what are the purpose of interrogation? Bakit may interrogation? Simply because to obtain confession to the crime. So, ito yung number one reason. Then, to induce the suspect to make admission. So, ito yung mga techniques na ginagamit or mga tools na ginagamit sa investigation, di ba? Then, to learn the facts of the crime. To learn the identity of the accomplice. So, kung sino yung katulong ng suspect. To develop information which will lead to the recovery of the fruits of the crime. Then, to discover the details of other crimes participated by the suspect. Baka may mga other crimes pa siyang ginawa, di ba? So, this is the purpose of interrogation. So, pag lumabas ito sa board exam, siyempre may copy na kayo. You have the idea. techniques, approaches in interrogation. Ito yung mga ginagamit ng mga techniques. First is the emotional appeal. It will please the subject in the proper frame of mind, di ba? Parang psychological warfare. The investigator should provide emotional stimuli. Then, that will prompt the suspect to abandon himself by confiding. Then, the law enforcement will analyze the subject's personality and decide. So, ilalagay siya sa stimuli wherein his emotions will be tested. Dito na techniques. And decide what motivation would prompt him to tell the truth. So, ano yung mga gagawin ng suspect to tell the truth, di ba? That will motivate him. So, ginagamitan ito ng emotional or example, we will give him a concept or idea na ano ang ginawa niya nandyan. So, more on psychological aspect ito. So, dito tayo sa sympathetic approach. So, more on sympathy. So, or friendship. So, yung investigator natin, more will use a sympathetic approach or friendly approach to the suspect. Diba? Then, kindness. To be kind, di ba? Ito yung one of the approach din ng interrogation. Extenuation. Ano itong extenuation? The investigator indicates he does not consider his subject's indiscretion or grave offense. So, gagawa siya ng mga techniques na hindi i-consider ng investigator yung mga grave offense. So, sasabihin niya na pwede pang malis yung punishment mo dito. So, ganyan. Yung extenuation. Then, shifting the blame. The interrogator makes clear his belief that the subject is obviously not the sort of person who usually gets mixed up in a crime like this. So, i-shift yung blame. So, hindi i-focus yung blame sa suspect. Then, so ito yung shifting the blame. So, yung pinakasikat nito techniques in interrogation is itong Matt and Jeff. So, two agents or two interrogators ang karakter nito. Si Matt, the relentless investigator who is not going to waste any time because he knows that the subject is guilty. Then Jeff, on the other hand, is obviously a kind-hearted man. So, may masama yung gumagamit ng yung nagsashout ba or masamang agent. So, for example, wag mong, ang kanyang script is, wag mong sayangin ang oras ko. Hindi lang yung ang case mo ang ginagawa ko ngayon. So, ganyan yung si karakter ni Matt. But si Jeff, ito yung sympathetic or kind-hearted man. So, ito yung Matt and Jeff approach. May masama at may good person, di ba? Bluff on a split pair. This is applicable when there is more than one suspect. If ang suspect is dalawa or tatlo ba or more, so ito yung ginagamit, ang bluff on a split pair. The suspect are separated and one is informed and the other has talked. So, i-separate sila, hindi sila i-congregate. Then, sabihin ng interrogator na, nag-confess na yung isang suspect mo, di ba? So, ito yung techniques din. Bluff on a split pair. applicable on 2 or more suspects. Pretense of physical evidence. The investigator may pretend that certain physical evidence has found by laboratory experts. So, ito yon. Oh, nalaman namin, may blood na nandun sa victim. So, umamin ka na. So, ganitong mga escape. Yung pretense of physical evidence. Jolting may be applied to calm unnervous subjects by constantly observing the suspect. Diba? The investigator chooses a propitious moment to shout a pertinent question and appear as though he is not beside himself with rage. Diba? The subject may be unnerved to the extent of confessing. So, matatakot itong subject nito. Then, last but not least is the mixed approach, wherein all the above techniques is combined. Ito yung mixed approach. So, we'll proceed to, tapos na tayo sa 3 eyes. So, tapos na tayo sa phases of investigation. Then, the 3 eyes, we'll proceed to the protocols in investigation. So, for your information, itong protocols in investigation is indicated or nandoon, nakuha ko ito sa police operational procedure, especially sa criminal investigation. So, baka lalabas ito. So, at least you have the copy of it. Diba? May idea na kayo. So, first protocol of investigation is the jurisdictional investigation by the territorial unit concerned. So, the police station unit, may kanya-kanya silang territorial jurisdiction of the area where the crime incident was committed. If the crime incident was committed in the area of their responsibility, so sila yung magkakandak ng investigation, di ba? Unless otherwise directed by higher authorities for a certain case to be investigated by other units agency. Protocol 2 is the official police blotter. Excuse. So, sa official police blotter, ang measurements niya is 18 by 12. 18 inches by 12. Logbook. With hardbound cover that contains the daily register of all crime incident reports. So, take note with this ha. Kasi parang sa board exam ko, last 2012, I think, lumabas itong official police blotter. So, take note with this. The daily register of all crime incidents reports. So, nandun yung mga summary of arrests and other significant events reported in a police station. So, Protocol 3 is the investigating team. So, nakikita niyo dito yung composition ng investigating team. Then, as stated, especially stated by the protocol na dapat at least PO2 ang prerequisite to assignment with this investigating team. Then, prescribed investigation course. Graduate of prescribed investigation course. So, sa PNP, may magkakandak sila ng mga criminal investigation course. I think 1 month or 2 months yung course nila. So, equipment, team leader, investigator, photographer. Then, the equipment, police line, the video camera, voice recorder, camera, measuring device, gloves. So, kailangan din itong gloves, di ba? For the preservation of the crime scene. Para hindi contaminate yung evidence, di ba? Flashlight. So, kailangan itong flashlight. Why it is important ang flashlight, di ba? Because flashlight, if ever na walang kuryente or walang sources of lights yung area, so dapat ang investigating team may dalang flashlight nila in order for the protection of evidence. Then, fingerprint kit, the evidence bag, evidence tag, the evidence bottle vials. So, as you can see, there are different containers. So, different containers sa mga specific evidence. So, itong mga specific evidence can be discussed to special crime na. So, hindi muna tayo mag-focus nito. Then, the investigator's tickler. Siyempre, the checklist, then the anatomical diagram form. Evidence checklist, then the turnover receipt. Ano itong anatomical diagram form? Itong anatomical diagram form, ito yung nakikita nating itong human body anatomy. Yung dinadala ng suko. Doon nila nilagay yung mga wounds or mga injuries na nakita nila sa dead body in the crime scene. So, ito yung anatomical diagram form. Then, the 4 duties of the first responder. So, we discussed this earlier, kanina. I think, wala nang dapat i-discuss nito. So, as I have said, proceed to the crime scene, validate the information. So, dapat itong duties ng first responder. Kailangan i-validate muna kung totoo ba o hindi yung information received. Then, the record, the briefing, and cordoning the area. So, discuss natin ito kanina. Simply to preserve its integrity, di ba? Check whether the situation is still poses imminent danger. So, ito yung pinaka-importante. Dapat hindi lang basta-basta kang susulong o attack sa crime scene pag hindi mo na-secure. Kasi, there are times na yung suspect is nandyan pa. What if may dalang deadly weapon yung suspect? So, be cautious. Diba? Be aware of the posibleng mangyari sa iyo, di ba? Identify possible witness, then arrest the suspect. Prepare to take the dying declaration. So, if we take the dying declaration, may requisites. Ito yun. So, the date is imminent. And the declarant is conscious of the fact, di ba? Then, that the declaration refers to the cause of surrounding circumstances of such death. That the declaration releases the facts which the victim is competent to testify to, di ba? That the declaration is offered in a case wherein the declarant's death is the subject of inquiry. So, ito yung nakalagay sa Section 37, Rule 130 of the Rules of Court. So, di basta-basta ma-establish itong dying declaration. May requisites talaga. So, when we talk about imminent, talagang mamamatay na talaga siya, di ba? Ito yung imminent. Evacuate the wounded to the nearest hospital. As I have said, preserve life and property first, di ba? Before i-cordon mo yung area, di ba? Then, account for the killed, wounded, or arrested person for proper disposition. Then, conduct initial investigation, yung preliminary investigation. Diba? Then, brief the investigator on case, the briefing, conduct inventory of the evidence taken in the crime scene. So, ito na. So, as I have said, my first responder form na dapat dinadala itong mga first responder. Para ma-turn over nila ang crime scene sa investigator. So, Protocol 5, duties and responsibilities of the investigating team. Take control, full control of the crime scene to include the conduct of search, taking photographs, making sketches. So, ito na yung trabaho ng suko. As I have said, establish command post, di ba? Then, designate an holding area in the immediate vicinity of the crime scene. So, dapat hindi basta-basta ipapasok yung mga media, kahit pa mga VIPs. So, may designated area talaga. Then, conduct case conference with the first responder, suko, other law enforcers, and rescue personnel. Then, note any secondary crime scene if situation requires. Then, release the crime scene after investigation. So, na-discuss natin itong release. So, tapos na tayo sa Protocol 5. Ito nang end sa Part 7. Then, we'll discuss sa Protocol 6 naman, sa Part 8.